there are miracles that are not supernatural, but they're natural, and it's how God works in our lives. I personally believe that God works in everybody's life, all around the world, all the way through it, whatever country they're in. And for example, I'm wondering what you might think about this, Nabeel, and also Bob. Sometimes people say, oh, there aren't miracles in America because people here don't have enough faith or whatever. And I was one time praying to the Lord about that, and I felt like he gave me an answer, which is America is a miracle because of the freedom here, the opportunity we have here. So that, for example, 3 of these people that are nearly becoming believers now and aren't having dreams and visions, they are in America. Someone told me once, Cynthia, you are that person's miracle, because that person, one of these people told me, one of the reasons I came to America as a student was because I wanted to learn more about Christianity. 10 days after they came to America, they met me, and we met regularly every week. So what I'm wondering, I don't have studies to prove this, but I think by and large when we hear the stories of miracles and divine visitations and dreams, a lot of times those are coming out of locked countries like the Middle East or like certain parts of Africa where people don't have access. And maybe people who are in America or can work the internet, they know how to get online and how to discover things. Do you think there's a chance that God might hold them responsible for being able to hear about him in that way? What do you think, Nabeel?
I think God is certainly at work around the world. I think that, yes, in the United States, you have some amazing privileges and you have some amazing things happening. People are coming from all over the world to the United States, places where they would never hear about Jesus, and here they're hearing about Jesus. I think about myself. My mother was the daughter of a Muslim missionary. My father, a devout Muslim. And the only way I ever heard about Jesus was because my father came to the United States, and I was born and raised here. And that's how I came to know Jesus. So in a sense, yes, it's absolutely a miracle. When people are saying that miracles aren't happening in America as much as they're happening around the rest of the world, I think it's a different definition of miracle. And once again, we have to be careful with our semantics. I know Michael Licona, a scholar of historical Jesus studies.
Could you explain what is a semantic?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So Michael Licona, who is a scholar of historical Jesus studies, he says that the word miracle is defined over 20 different ways just by historians of the historical Jesus.
Wow.
So you got the same group of scholars who define one word in 20 different ways. And that's what the term semantics means. It means you could have different definitions for the same word. And so, in a sense, yes, it's a miracle. The fact that we're even alive is a miracle. You know this as a pathologist. I knew this while I was studying in medical school. That the fact that we're even able to breathe is miraculous. We don't even think about it, but our hearts are contracting, constantly sending blood, and our lungs are taking oxygen in, and we're alive. We don't control it, but it happens. Praise God that we have this life. It's a miracle. But then there are other kinds of miracles, like people rising from the dead. Does this happen today? There's a scholar by the name of Craig Keener who's written a book called Miracles. His wife, who's from the Congo, she's from Africa, was raised from the dead. And so he would obviously say, yes, this does happen. And those happen because of God's special intervention. And we know that this happens as Christians because Jesus himself was raised from the dead. God is a God who works in these kinds of miraculous ways even today. And so I would say absolutely yes. God is working miracles in closed countries. He's introducing himself through dreams and visions. In open countries, people are hearing about God where they never would have heard of him before. God is an active God. He is a living God. And he puts every single one of us, this is Acts chapter 17 from the Bible, he puts every single one of us in specific places and times so that we might be able to reach out to him and find him, though he is not far from any one of us. So God has placed you in a very specific time and place so that you can find him. And if you have found him, he's placed you somewhere so you could help other people find him. That's why you're here. And yes, I do believe that that is an amazing miracle, that God can give us this kind of free will and still orchestrate the universe to his own ends. That's miraculous.